Yeah.
Karen, can you? We are starting now.
All right, welcome to the Dynamics community call for October. If you guys can give me a sound check and make sure that you can hear me okay.
I can hear you, Barb.
Sounds good, Barb.
Excellent. If anyone wants to throw a thumbs up in the chat window too to make sure everyone can see my screen and hear me okay. We'll get started in a second.
Very good, Barb.
Excellent. All right, again, welcome to the October Dynamics community call here. We're going to be covering Dynamics 365 pricing and licensing today. My name is Barb Barrowman. I'm a partner technology strategist focused on CRM Online. All right, to get started, we're going to go over the packaging overview first. So we're going to have two editions of Dynamics 365. We're going to have a business edition that is geared more towards our SMB customers. When it ships on November 1st, we're just going to have the one module called Financials. That's based on Project Madeira. So if you had an opportunity to preview that, you should be familiar with it. In the future, we're going to be having a sales and a marketing module. And we're expecting that calendar year 17, hopefully in the spring. This is going to be a cloud-only licensing model. You are not going to get the dual online and on-prem rights that you see on the Enterprise Edition, so it's cloud-only. It is going to max out at 300 seats. The good news is there is no seat minimum. So I know previously we had a lot of feedback from partners frustrated with that 5-seat minimum, especially in CSP. So the good news is there is no seat minimum for the Business Edition. All right, on the Enterprise Edition, that's going to be what we have considered optimized for 250 plus employees. You as partners, you're going to know if you're going to have some of those SMB customers out there that maybe need more features and functionality, and they can certainly purchase this edition. It is comprised of the CRM Online and AX modules that you're familiar with from the past. Again, it's going to have both online and on-prem dual use rights. For this, for the AX-related SKUs, which would be operations and Plan 2, I'll get to those here in a minute, but those SKUs do have a 20-seat user minimum. But again, still no seat minimum if you're just purchasing kind of the CRM Online standalone apps or Enterprise Plan 1. Okay, so now when we look at it from a user perspective, we're going to have two users. We're going to have a light user, which we are calling team members. And these are going to be users that have read-only access to the applications, light use, knowledge sharing. At the back of the slides, we will have kind of more in-depth on what you will get from a read and write functionality within each of the apps based on team members or based on a full user. So I'm going to just guide you to looking at the slides. And I guess a little housekeeping there, we will have the slides and the recording posted on Yammer within 72 hours. I forgot my housekeeping. And if you guys have any questions during this presentation, go ahead and put them in the chat window. Karen and Renato are working with me today, and they'll be answering those questions as we, as you guys enter them in there. So keep the questions coming so that we know, what's clear and what's not clear for you guys. Apologize for that. Okay, so we also have what we're going to call a full user. And full users have the ability to buy within an application. You could buy one single application like sales or field service, or you can buy a plan. And as you can see there in the graphic, the plan, maybe you have a user that mainly works mostly in operations, but they do need some read-write functionality in some of the other areas that wouldn't be covered kind of from a team member perspective. Plans are going to be our hero SKUs. It is going to be a minimum amount to step up to a plan from an individual app. And we're looking at this as a great opportunity for partners to have cross-sell and upsell opportunities by moving customers to plans and maybe getting more opportunities into some of the other areas that that customer hasn't moved yet. Okay, so here's a really nice graphic from what I just kind of talked about and the different applications and how they're going to go into the plans. So you can see on the top we have our SMB offering, the Business Edition. As I mentioned before, when it first comes out here on November 1st, we'll only have financials and then also Power Apps and Flow. We are going to have, hopefully coming out in the spring then, as I mentioned, sales, marketing, and when those release, we'll actually have a business edition plan. We are going to have another call for partners that sell to SMB customers on the CRM Online side to go into more details on, what should you do with your CRM Online customers that are in the SMB market, since it's not being released right away. And that's going to be on October 17th, and in the call to action, we have a link to register for that event. So if you have a lot of questions on what to do for those customers, I highly recommend you attend that call, and we'll have some more of a deeper dive for what to do for those. And then for our Enterprise Edition, you can see we have Plan 1 and Plan 2. Plan 1 is going to include Power Apps Flow and all of the modules that we're used to seeing from a CRM perspective: sales, field service, customer service, and project service automation. And then Plan 2 is going to include everything in Plan 1. In addition, it's going to be adding the operations module, and that's based on AX7. You can see here.
Hey, Barb,
go ahead.
Just one quick request from the audience. They can see when they're viewing your slides, there's the Barb Barrowman at the bottom that's blocking that. So I don't know within Skype if you can go up to the top and select Content View, if it will remove that.
Actually, I think if you go in the moderator and if you select there's two views you can choose in the moderator panel, and one of them will remove that. Got it?
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Okay, so you can see missing from the Enterprise Plan 1 that we previously had in there as being delivered later was our marketing module. So we actually just announced a strategic relationship with Adobe, and Adobe is going to be moving all of its marketing apps into the Azure cloud. And Microsoft is going to make the Adobe Marketing Cloud its preferred marketing service for Dynamics 365 for the Enterprise Edition. Don't have a lot more details other than that yet, since it's was just announced. But there is an article on Partner Source that can give you a little bit more information if you guys have questions that I've referenced down in the bottom. We are still planning on coming out with a marketing app for the Business Edition, though. Okay, so talking about the actual services that you're going to get with the applications, there have been some changes in what we had seen in the past. So I want to go over that for a little bit. You're going to get on the kind of the CRM side on that first left side column. You're still going to get your production instance, but you're also going to get a non-production instance. It used to be there was a minimum user requirement before you got that non-production, and now that's going to be included at even if you buy one user. You can also see we're including portal. So you're going to get one portal is included if you buy any of the applications or the plans. And we're also increasing the database storage. So you can see we used to start with 5 gigs per tenant, and that is now 10 gigabytes. And then you're going to get, for every additional 20 full users, you're going to get 5 gigabytes for that, and that used to be 2.5. And then when I say full users, that means someone buying an application or a plan, not the team members. So team members don't count towards the users for getting the extra storage. And if we looked at an example of like a 40-user company, they used to start out with then the 5 gigabytes, and then they'd get 5 additional for their 40 users. So they'd be at 10, and now those guys will start out with 20 gigabytes. So that in that instance, you're actually doubling the storage. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to point out. I believe from an operations side, those are going to be very similar. On the business edition, what you're going to get is you're going to get a production instance, unlimited file storage and data storage, and then 1 license for an external accountant. So as we kind of look at how we're packaging these applications, I just want to pause for a brief second and kind of talk about how we hope that this is going to be a better fit for you as a partner and give you guys more opportunities. I think the new user licensing, being able to license by app, has been very well received. I've had a lot of partners very excited about that, and I think the plan, having just kind of that minimal step up into the plan, is going to give you guys an opportunity to bring in more components. We're adding in the portal, and we're actually, I didn't mention it yet, but social engagement is also going to be included in any of the plans or any of the individual apps. So I think those new features and functionality that we're adding into these licenses is going to give you an opportunity to do more with your customers. In addition, there's a lot of integration that you can do with Azure, with the Cortana Intelligence Suite and Internet of Things, being able to take that data and put it out into Azure from a storage perspective, and then do analytics on it to be able to provide a true connected experience for that customer. You know, we always like the example of equipment failure, being able to analyze when something's going to fail, and being able to have a field service representative dispatched before that fails is just, you know, exactly what our customers are looking for, and that is going to be something that is going to give you additional Azure consumption that you can sell to them. I think another thing too is just leveraging the plans and the tiered pricing. I think is going to hopefully make it a little bit of a better model for some of those larger customers. All right, so now I'm going to get into the pricing overview, and we're going to start with the Enterprise Edition. On the right-hand side, you can see each individual app is going to be $95 from a CRM perspective. So sales, field service, customer service, project service automation, those are all $95. Operations, which again was the AX, what that is going to be moving to, that is $190. If you want to purchase Power Apps and Flow, that is $40. I've had a couple of questions around that, and I'll have another slide on it, but that is considered the Power App P2 license. If you were to just buy, say, the sales license for $95, you will get Power Apps with that, but that is kind of that P1 version, which is only going to give you the ability to work with the entities that are within that sales application. And again, now we have that call out from a marketing perspective that we're going to be recommending Adobe Marketing. And then the enterprise team members are going to start at $10. You can see we have tiered pricing underneath that. We'll touch base on that too. So when we look over to the plans, remember Enterprise Plan 1 encompassed all the CRM Online apps in addition to Power Apps. That is going to be $115. So again, that $20 step up from any one of the individual apps over to Plan 1. and Enterprise Plan 2, which is going to encompass everything in Plan 1, all the CRM apps, Power Apps and Flow, and Operations. That is going to be $210, a $20 step up from just buying that Operations module by itself. On the Business Edition side, again, just releasing financials on November 1st, and that will be $40. You could get Power Apps and Flow for the financials piece for another $40, and the business team members starts out at $5. There is tiered pricing on that one too. And then again, coming out in the spring, the sales and marketing apps, and when those release, we'll actually have a business plan app. Or a business plan license, I guess I should say. So here's a nice graphic that kind of really kind of lays it out a little better with based on the plans and what you're going to get in each one of the plans, how much they are individually. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions on how does CRM Online map to the Dynamics 365? And so we created this this graphic hopefully to help you have these transition calls and conversations with your customers. If you're at the enterprise level, that maps pretty clearly just to Plan 1. If you're at the professional level, then it's going to take a look and see if they are just kind of using the sales accounts, if they're using contacts and kind of just that sales aspects, opportunities, leads, then they could maybe look at just the sales module for $95, or customer service if they're using cases. If they're using kind of both of those aspects, then definitely want to look at Plan 1. Basic, you're going to have to kind of take a look at if they are using leads and cases and working with those, then they will either go into Plan 1, depending on if they're using both of them, or they could go into each individual app. If they're just kind of doing knowledge work, read-only access, then those can map into team members. Again, we're hoping you guys as partners, this is a great opportunity to get in there and see how the customer is using the solution and make these recommendations for them. And then Essential and Employee Self-Service will map right to team members. Field Service and Project Service, those will map to the individual apps that they're using or into the plans. And then as I mentioned before too, that social engagement is going to be included in all of the apps or Plan 1. And then not on here, but also wanted to call out is Portal. One portal will be included in any of the sales apps or any of the Plan 1 apps, I should say, or Plan 1. And then you can buy additional portals a la carte. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so AX7 or operations, how is that going to map to Dynamics 365? That's a little bit more straightforward. Enterprise will go right to operations or Plan 2. And again, so if you think about it, for $20, they're going to get Power Apps Flow and also all of the CRM Online apps. So that's a great value there. Tasks and self-serve will go right to team members, and device will stay as a device license. The device licenses, as you can see on the previous slide, it's $75 for the operations side, and for the CRM Online side or Plan 1 side, that's going to be $145. You can see we have some examples down at the bottom there that kind of show when the device license is going to be a better option for you than doing a user license. But again, you guys can work on that with your customers and figure out what is the best way for them to move forward. They are talking about a device license for the business edition, but that will not be available at launch. Okay, so I have talked a little bit about tiered pricing. So I want to delve into that a little bit more. So tiered pricing, what is it? It's pretty much a volume discount for customers that are buying certain SKUs at a certain volume. And here is the pricing tiers for the Enterprise Edition. Again, no tiered pricing if they're just buying an individual app. So sales or customer service is always going to be $95 no matter how many licenses they buy. But if we look over to Plan 1 in the 1 to 99 seats, again, we saw the $115. But at $100, then it drops down to $90. So any of the customers that are looking at least 100 seats of any of the Enterprise 1 plan apps, it's going to be more cost effective for them to actually move up to Plan 1. And then you can see the discounts drop down based on the higher seat tiers. We have the same tiering model for the team members pricing, starting out at $10 and dropping down to $4 if you're purchasing over 1,000 seats. And then the Business Edition, just to reiterate, the Business Edition plan is not coming out right away. So as soon as we release sales and marketing, then this will be available. But this will give you an idea of what the pricing is going to be. Same concept, no tiered pricing for the business apps. If you're buying them individually, $40. The business plan will come out at $50 for 1 to 14 seats. And then at 15, it drops down to $39. So again, that's kind of that price point. If they're buying at least 15 seats, it's going to be more cost effective for them to move up to the plan and get all of the apps plus Power Apps and Flow. And unfortunately, we don't have the tiered pricing yet for team members. And as soon as we get that information, we'll get that out to you. Okay, so we've got to make it a little complicated sometimes. So if you're multitasking, come back to me for a second here. But a couple of things I want to point out in the tiered pricing. There is no tiered pricing for the Plan 2, but Plan 2 seats will count towards the Plan 1 tiers. So I want to make sure you guys understand that. So for example, if a customer buys 50 seats of Plan 1 and 50 seats of Plan 2, they will actually get those Plan 1 seats at that 100-tier breakdown of $90 because you can add all your Plan 2 tier seats to the Plan 1 seat. So they'll be at 100 users from a tiered pricing for Plan 1. And again, the Plan 1 and Plan 2 seats will count towards that, but team members are only going to count towards the team member tier. So if you buy 1,000 team members, you'll get that discounted tier, but that won't count towards your Plan 1 tiered pricing. The seats will remain at their purchase price until renewal. So if they buy 50 seats of Plan 1, and then 6 months later they buy 50 seats of Plan 2, they will get those second set of seats at that 100 user level. But those first 50 will not be discounted. But when you come up for the renewal, then they'll get all 100 at that tier pricing. And then the same concept would occur if you decided to true down. We're pretty much going to take the least expensive seats, so the ones that came in last, which had the lowest price, those will be the ones that will be trued down first, not the most expensive. Okay, team members, get a little bit more information in regards to the team members. So hopefully this is going to make things a little bit easier for you guys. We're going to have one SKU that's going to cover all light use in all of those applications that are circled in red there. we are going to have, again, that tiered pricing with the hopes that you can expand to a larger customer base within that environment and be able to get those customers excited about getting access to all this great information at a lower price, and then expand in and get a higher amount of users for that environment. And then just like a nice little graphic that kind of shows that that this is a nested approach, that team members are inside of all the apps and then inside of all the plans. And I did want to break out, because we've had a lot of questions on this, what do you get with team members on the Enterprise Edition? As you can see here, we have it kind of color-coded. So approving invoices, budgets, requisitions, that is available for, that is something that team members can do for operations, because it's in black there. Anything that's in purple, like respond to voice of the customer surveys, that's something that team members could do for the Plan 1 apps. And anything in pink, like read data from any of the Dynamics 365 applications or plans, that's something that you can get through both of the both operations and any Plan 1 business apps. So hopefully this will give you guys a good good feel for as you're having these conversations with your customers, if team members is going to be appropriate for them, or if that's something that those individuals need to move up into a different application. Okay, so now I'm going to touch base a little bit on Power Apps and Flow. We're going to have, you know, a whole session, one of our community calls based on Power Apps and Flow. So I'm just going to, at a high level, kind of talk about what this is. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at it from a preview perspective, I highly recommend it. It's a very powerful tool that I think yourselves and your customers are going to be able to use to meet a need that a lot of them have been looking for. So as you look at this graphic, you can see Power Apps is kind of on the bottom there, going across Office 365, services in Azure, all of our Dynamics 365 apps, and also our third-party business apps. So think of it as kind of a database in the cloud that's going to give you access to all of these different entities and or schema, if you will. So you could grab information from Office 365, like contacts in Office 365 or accounts. You can grab information from the sales in Dynamics 365. You could grab invoice information from something out of operations. If you guys are ISVs and you're creating your own applications, you can grab information from a database perspective there and pull it all together into an application for your customers. And since we're, you know, this mobile first world, these applications are built to be on a phone or a mobile device, a tablet. You're going to be able to create these apps without any code or very little code, and then once you create it, it's available for the customers so that they come into their into Power Apps, they'll see My Apps, and they'll have access to these, and it's going to be able to pull information that is just pertinent to them. So maybe they don't care about certain aspects of how you guys have laid a form out, and then this is going to be very easy way for you guys to just kind of make that information nice and tight for them so that it hits home with what they're looking for, and we're going to get the information that they need into their hands so they can make decisions. And then I just talked through everything on my first slide here, but just again, so the concept is it's this common data model, or this database in the cloud, all those different things. If it's CRM Online, if it's third-party apps, you're going to be able to access those. We have created Power Apps is think of it as a low-code way to create these applications. We have a lot of templates for you to build an application or a form, and then you're going to publish that out to the customer base for them to instantly consume on their web or their mobile devices. It's a very powerful tool. Okay, and so we touched base on this a little bit, had some questions on licensing of Power Apps and Flow. I think the best way to think about it on that first column, if you were to buy just, say, the sales app for $95 and that's all you purchase, you're going to get a limited version of Power Apps and Flow that would only work with the entities inside of sales. It doesn't have the ability to pull in, from a database perspective, any other applications. If you are to purchase the, and then I would call that is considered Power Apps Plan 1, and I think it's $10 if you buy it a la carte. Then if you look at kind of that middle column, if you are looking for the ability to have access to that whole database that I talked about, ISVs, operations, sales, field service, then that is the Power Apps and Flow that you get with the Enterprise Plan 1 or Plan 2, and we call that Power Apps P2. That one's $40. And then that would be the same if you wanted to license it a la carte and paid the $40 because you hadn't purchased any of the apps or the plans, then that one would give you access to any of that information or a third-party ISV application. So think about if you're paying like $10 or if it's included free with just your application, then you're going to have limited rights to just that application. If you're paying $40, you're going to get that ability to license it all across all of Office 365, all the Dynamics 365 apps and other apps. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay, channel availability. So when we come out for launch in November 1st, what channels is everything going to be available in? You can see how everything is laid out here. I guess the only thing that I do want to call out is that the business edition for financials and team members, when it first comes out, is only going to be available via CSP or the Cloud Solution Provider Program. And again, remember the good news that you can buy those one licenses at a time. Looks like Plan 2 is only going to be available via CSP, MPSA, or the Enterprise Agreement. Plan 1, we're going to add Web Direct. And Operations has the same availability from a channel perspective as Plan 2. Okay, availability for the government community cloud. The one thing I do want to point out is that there is a 30% price premium for the government community cloud. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about transition pricing because hopefully everyone on the call has lots of customers that are already on CRM Online or are maybe looking at moving to moving forward with CRM Online. We do have really good transition pricing, so even if they are looking at buying CRM Online, now is the time to buy before the end of October because we have this really good transition pricing. So, you know, we're still going out with the message of no better time to buy than now, so that if you do get it in place, have a license in place by October 31st, then you will have access to this transition pricing. And then this transition pricing is going to be available for 3 years. Okay, so if you have a customer that is paying $65 right now for CRM Online Pro, if they are looking at just one application, like sales or customer service, the transition offer will be available to them for $76. If they want to move to actually Plan 1, so let's say they're using both customer service and sales, so they want to move to Plan 1 and get Power Apps and Flow, then they can get that for $86. Now you can kind of see at 250 to 499 users, if they decide to go to Plan 1, it's actually less expensive to go with the tiered pricing than it would be to go with that transition pricing. Okay, so if you have a customer that is only paying $50 for CRM Online right now because they also own Office 365, the transition pricing for them, if they decided to buy one app, either sales or customer service, would be $59. If they want to move over to the Plan 1, again, if they want all of the applications in Power Apps and Flow, then that would be $66. At over 1,000 users, that's when it becomes more cost-effective to do the standard pricing for the tiers. All right, so if you have a customer that has the basic CRM Online license for $30, again, you're going to have to kind of take a look at what they're using in those applications. But if they are using cases or leads and they need sales or customer service, one of those apps, the transition pricing is $50. And if they wanted to move to Plan 1, the cost will be $57. For that one, it is going to be more cost-effective to stay with the transition offer than the tiered pricing. So you might have some customers that have the $30 basic license that are just kind of using knowledge base or read-only access. Those people would then move to the team member pricing. And again, remember that starts at $10 and drops down to $4 if they're over 1,000 users. And I wanted to pull out an example because hopefully you guys aren't freaking out too much with the price increase, but hopefully with the transition pricing, it makes it a little bit more palatable for them. So we have an example here of a customer that has, let's say, 100 essential users, 25 basic, and 75 pro users. If they just used our standard pricing, we move the basic and the pro users, those 100 users total, up to Plan 1. And we move the essential users to team members. The list price for that would be almost $10,000, which would be an increase of almost $3,000 a month. But with the transition pricing, then moving over to Plan 1 of those 100 users with that transition offer, the price is only going to be a little over $7,000, which would only be about a $300 a month increase in the transition pricing. And then just remember, again, these nuggets when you're having these conversations, that they're going to get one portal license, they get additional storage included in Dynamics 365. They're going to get social engagement, and then Power Apps and Flow. And so we're counting on you guys as the partners to be able to understand the power of Power Apps and Flow, to be able to have that conversation with them to help ease this transition. And then I know that the transition is going to be a lot of the conversations that you're having with your existing customers. We don't want to slow that down so that you can go out and find some new customers too. So we have a kind of a transition summary here, and then I'm going to pop out and go through the this new partner transition toolkit that we've created to help you with those conversations. So I think one of the harder ones is going to be if they have CRM Online now in Open or Advisor. At renewal time, it's not going to be available in Open anymore. So you're going to want to transition them into an alternate licensing channel. direct, CSP, MPSA, or EA. That's going to be kind of the toughest one, because if they're used to transacting in open, they're going to have to look at a new model. So as I mentioned, we have this new partner transition toolkit. It's really a PowerPoint guide that will help you with all these conversations based on if they're coming from the cloud or on-prem, and all routes to market. And I have a link here for the kit, and then I'm going to escape out. Renato or Karen, if you can let me know you can see my screen again, that'd be great.
We can see it.
Excellent. So again, it's a PowerPoint, even though we call it a toolkit. We like to make things in PowerPoint, you know that. So we have just kind of some instructions on how to use this deck. A lot of this information is going to be duplicated, so we really need you to kind of collapse all the sections of the deck together, and then you will just navigate to the section that is pertinent to your customer. So if they're going to CRM Online, that they are in CRM Online and Open and they're going to be moving over, or maybe they're CRM on-prem off of the Dynamics price list, you can kind of see that each one is going to direct you to a certain area. And as we expand it out, a lot of this information will be the same in each one. So this is going to tell you exactly what's happening. So for Open, CRM Online, the SKUs are going to be removed on November 1st. Well, that's with any route to market. What they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to they will qualify for that transition pricing. Their transition pricing, again, is going to be available for 3 years. So this will be kind of the standard information. This is one of the slides you already saw that I had shown. And then this is going to be talking about if they have some basic licenses, if they are also using that with field service or project service, then they're going to look at Plan 1 or the individual. If they're just, no right access required to cases or leads, then they're going to go to team member. If it's essential, they're going to go to right to team member. So we're going to give you some guidance. It's going to give you all the transition pricing, talk about the upsell opportunity, of course. You can see we've actually hid this slide because we don't have the exact SKUs yet, but hopefully this will be a living, breathing document, and we will update that with the exact SKUs that you guys will need. So like if we widen this one out, you can see we got a lot of the same stuff in here. That's why I said it's really repetitive, but it's really meant for you guys to, okay, this is this specific customer, and what are they going to get from a transition pricing perspective, and then all of those slides that we just went through for you. So again, very repetitive, but really meant for you guys to just go directly to which one of these scenarios is pertinent to you at the right time. All right, I'm going to switch back over to my presentation. If you guys could just confirm everything is good again.
Looks good, Barb.
Yes, it's good.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so calls to action. We've blogged about this already, but on the Dynamics Learning Portal, we have a 2.5-hour series of videos. Each one is kind of broken out by section: enterprise plan, business plan, partner value opportunity. But I would highly recommend taking a look at those videos. Very, very good information. A lot of the information that I'm presenting you today is slimmed down from that deck. If you do sell to the SMB marketplace and you're selling CRM Online, I would highly recommend you attend the webinar on October 17th, and there is the link to attend that. We will have some special transition pricing for customers, SMB customers that need to buy CRM Online or that want to buy it before it comes out in the business edition. So please attend that webinar to get more information. This afternoon at 1:30 Central Standard Time, we're actually going to have a first look event, so an opportunity to actually see Dynamics 365 and what it looks like. So I highly recommend you take an hour this afternoon to watch that event. And then download that partner transition toolkit that I just showed you. There is the link again for that, but I think that'll really help when you're having these transition conversations with your customers to kind of get them going in the right direction. All right, and I do have a couple of minutes, so I want to point out a couple of the slides that we have in the appendix. So for each one of the apps, then we kind of have what type of access you would have for that app. If you have a team member, if you're buying the sales app or the plan, or if you're getting the device license. And we have that broken down for each one of the apps. We didn't have time to go through all of this today, so we included that in appendix. And again, we're going to have the recording and the deck posted out on Yammer, on our Dynamics Yammer page, hopefully here hopefully within 24 hours. So if you guys can download this information. All right. Well, that is all that I had. I don't know if Renato and Karen, were there any questions that we had a lot of the same that we want to go over that? Otherwise, we can give people a little bit time back in their day.
Barb, I think we are answering most of the questions. For those that didn't get an answer yet, we'll make sure that we post all answers as a FAQ on our Yammer community.
Yes, and if you think of any questions after this, please post them to the Yammer community. We are watching that, and I think that's the best place to post any questions, and then any other partners that have that same question can find that answer right away for them. So again, if you have any questions, please post them to our Yammer community. Otherwise, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for the time today. Thank you for attending our October Dynamics community call.